Have you ever been talking to someone and suddenly thought, "Why are they acting a little strange around me?" They are completely normal with everybody else, calm, relaxed, talking freely. Then you walk into the room, and suddenly they forget what they were saying. They fix their clothes. They look at you, then quickly look away. They say something a little silly, and spend the next 5 minutes wondering why they said it. And you are standing there thinking, what on earth is going on with this person? Well, sometimes attraction does something very funny to human beings. Because when we secretly like someone, we do not always become smooth and confident. Sometimes we become a little awkward, a little too quiet, a little too interested in things we normally would not even notice. And sometimes we start behaving in ways that even we do not understand. Carl Jung spent much of his life exploring the hidden parts of the human mind. And one interesting thing about human behavior is this: what we try to hide does not always stay hidden. Our feelings have a funny way of escaping, through our eyes, our body language, the strange things we say, and yes, even through the silly things we suddenly start doing when someone special is around. So today, let's talk about 8 strange things people do when they're secretly attracted to you. And please, be honest with yourself while watching this, because by the end of this video, you may suddenly remember someone and think, "Oh, so that is why they were acting like that," or even worse. You may realize, "Oh no, I have been doing this to somebody too." If that happens, don't worry. Your secret is safe here. Well, maybe not completely safe, because the comments are waiting for you. Let's get into it. 1. They suddenly become very aware of themselves. This is one of the strangest things about attraction. A person can be completely comfortable all day. Hair not perfect? No problem. Shirt a little wrinkled? Life goes on. Then you show up. Suddenly, they are touching their hair, fixing their shirt, checking their face in the phone screen, standing differently, even adjusting something that does not need adjusting. You may be thinking, why are they fighting with that sleeve? The sleeve has done nothing to them. But attraction can make people suddenly very aware of how they look. They start wondering, do I look okay? Did they notice me? Why did I wear this today? And the funny part is, sometimes they do this without even realizing it. The body reacts before the mind has time to give a speech about it. Jung believed that much of our behavior comes from deeper parts of ourselves that are not always fully conscious, and attraction can bring those hidden reactions right to the surface. Especially these days when people are trying so hard to look cool, someone may act like nothing bothers them, but secretly, they have already checked themselves 6 times because you are sitting nearby, and honestly, that is one of the sweetest things about human attraction. You can pretend you do not care, but your hands are over there fixing your hair like you are about to appear on television. 2. They look at you. Then quickly pretend they were looking at something else. Now this one is classic. You catch them looking at you. Their eyes meet yours, and immediately they look away. Suddenly, the wall becomes very interesting. The ceiling is beautiful. The floor has apparently received an important update. Anything except looking directly at you. And you may think, did I imagine that? Maybe, but if it happens again and again, there may be something there. A person who is secretly attracted to you may look at you more often than they mean to. They want to see you. They are curious about you. Maybe they are simply enjoying your presence. But the moment you catch them, oh dear, now they have to act natural. And there is nothing more difficult than acting natural when you suddenly realize someone caught you looking at them. You know that feeling. You look away too quickly, and now it looks suspicious. So you try to look back normally. Now that also feels suspicious. Then you decide to look somewhere else. And suddenly You are staring at a plant, like you have known that plant your whole life. This is real human behavior. Attraction can make eye contact feel powerful. Sometimes just 2 seconds of looking at someone can say more than a whole conversation. So if someone keeps looking at you, then looking away whenever you notice. I am not saying they are planning your wedding already. Let's relax. But something may be quietly happening. 3. They remember small things. You thought nobody noticed. This one can be very telling. You casually mentioned something 3 weeks ago. Maybe you said you love a certain song. Maybe you said you cannot stand cold coffee. Maybe you talked about something funny that happened years ago. You forgot about the conversation, but they did not. Then one day they say something like, "I remember you said you don't like that." And you pause. Wait, you remembered that? Yes, because when someone is attracted to you, your words can stay with them a little longer. Not everything, of course. Human beings still forget things. Sometimes we cannot remember where we put our keys, but somehow we remember the exact day someone smiled at us. The mind is funny like that. When someone becomes emotionally important to us, we often pay more attention. That little detail becomes interesting because you said it. And this is where attraction can be very sweet. They may remember your favorite food, a story about your family, something that makes you nervous, something that makes you happy, not because they are taking notes behind a desk somewhere. Please, nobody should be doing that. But because when you like someone, your mind naturally gives them a little more space. So if somebody remembers the tiny things you say, don't ignore it completely. Sometimes being remembered is one of the quietest forms of attraction. 4. They act completely different around you. This is where things get really interesting. You hear that this person is usually very confident, funny, talkative, always the one making everybody comfortable. Then you meet them, and suddenly they are quiet, a little nervous, dropping things, forgetting simple words. You may even wonder, "Are you okay?" And they say, yes, I'm fine." Meanwhile, their whole body is giving a different answer. Because attraction can make people lose their normal rhythm. A person may usually know exactly what to say, but around someone they secretly like, their brain suddenly takes a small holiday. You ask them a simple question, "How was your day?" And now they are thinking about the question like it is a final exam. My day? Today? Which part of the day? Sometimes they talk too much. Sometimes they become too quiet. Sometimes they tell you stories nobody asked for. And sometimes they become extra funny because they want to make you smile. The truth is, when we care about how someone sees us, we can become a little unusual around them. We want to make a good impression, but trying too hard to make a good impression can make us less smooth. That is the funny trap. So if someone is different around you than they are around everyone else, pay attention. You may be seeing the version of them that appears when their feelings are involved. 5. They find small reasons to be near you. This one is very human. They do not always come and say, "Hello, I am secretly attracted to you." Life would be much easier if people did that. But no. Instead, they suddenly have very small reasons to come near you. They need to ask you one question, then another question. Then somehow they are standing there again. They may take the long way just to pass by you. They may sit closer than necessary. They may find little reasons to continue a conversation. And sometimes the reason is so small, you almost want to ask, "You came all this way for that?" But maybe they did. Because when someone enjoys your presence, being near you can feel good even when nothing special is happening. That is important. Attraction is not always about big romantic moments. Sometimes it is simply, "I like being where you are." Maybe they stay a few minutes longer. Maybe they walk a little slower. Maybe they suddenly need help with something they could easily do themselves. And before we get carried away, yes, some people are simply friendly. Not every person standing near you is secretly writing love poems. But when you notice a pattern, when they keep finding ways to be around you, that may be their feelings quietly pulling them closer. And honestly, that is one of the most natural things in the world. We move toward what makes us feel something. 6. They tease you in a soft, personal way. Now, this can be a fun one. When someone is attracted to you, they may tease you a little more than other people, not in a cruel way, not to embarrass you, but in that playful way that says, "I notice you." Maybe they bring up something funny you once said. Maybe they give you a little nickname. Maybe they gently challenge you. Or maybe they find one tiny habit you have, and suddenly it becomes their favorite thing to talk about. There you go again, doing that thing. And you are like, "What thing?" And they say, "Exactly, that thing." The teasing is often not really about the joke. It is about connection. It creates a little space between two people that feels different from ordinary conversation. A small private world, a shared joke, a look that only the two of you understand. And this is something people of all ages can relate to. Attraction does not disappear just because we get older. You can be 25 or 65. You can be retired, busy, single, married for years, or just starting a new chapter. Human beings still enjoy feeling noticed, still enjoy making someone smile, still feel that little spark when a certain person gives us special attention. So if someone keeps teasing you in a warm and personal way, well, maybe you are becoming their favorite person to play with a little, and that is not always a bad place to be. 7. They copy little things you do without realizing it. This one is very interesting. Have you ever noticed that when people feel connected, they sometimes start doing similar things? You cross your arms. A few moments later they do too. You lean forward. They lean forward. You start speaking more softly. Suddenly they are speaking more softly too. You take a sip of your drink, and a moment later, there they go. Now, this does not automatically mean attraction. People naturally mirror each other when they feel comfortable or connected. But attraction can make this even stronger. Without thinking about it, a person may start matching your energy, your pace, your expressions, your body language, because deep down, human beings often want to feel connected to the people they like. It is almost like the body is saying, "I'm with you," and the person may have no idea they are doing it. This is why watching human behavior can be so fascinating. Sometimes the mouth is trying to hide the truth, but the body is over there giving a full interview. The person says, "Oh, I don't know." But their eyes are following you. Their body is leaning toward you. They are matching your energy, and suddenly you realize, something is going on here. 8. They become a little nervous about saying goodbye. Now this last one is beautiful because it happens in such simple moments. The conversation is ending. You have both been talking. Maybe nothing dramatic happened. Maybe you just enjoyed each other's company. Then it is time to go, and suddenly they slow down. They stand there for another few seconds. They say goodbye. Then start another small conversation. Then say goodbye again. Then somehow they are still standing there. You know that moment. "Okay, I'll go now." 5 minutes later. Still there. Sometimes attraction makes people stretch small moments, not because they have something important to say, but because they are not quite ready for the moment to end. They enjoyed being with you, and there is something very human about that. Sometimes the person you like does not leave your mind when they leave the room, so you stay just a little longer. You say one more thing. You look back one more time. You send one more message that was probably not necessary. Just wanted to say, take care. Meanwhile, you already said take care 3 times. Attraction can make goodbye surprisingly difficult, and maybe that is because deep down we are already looking forward to the next time. Attraction is strange, beautiful, confusing, and sometimes very funny. It can make confident people nervous, quiet people talk too much, talkative people suddenly forget what to say. It can make us stare at a person, then quickly study the wall when they catch us. It can make us remember tiny details, find silly reasons to be nearby, fix our clothes when nobody asked us to, and stand at the door saying goodbye for 10 minutes. That is the beautiful thing about human beings. We can hide our feelings with words, but our little habits often tell the story. Carl Jung spent his life exploring the parts of us that are hidden beneath the surface. And maybe attraction is one of those moments when something inside us quietly says, "This person matters to me." And before we fully understand it, our behavior has already started changing. So, let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed someone doing one of these things around you? Or, have you caught yourself doing one of these things when you secretly liked someone? Be honest. Which number made you say, "Oh no, that is me"? Drop the number in the comments. I really want to know. And if you have your own strange attraction sign that I did not mention, share it too. Somebody reading your comment may suddenly understand a person in their life. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and join us here. We talk about the strange, beautiful, confusing things human beings do every day. Because sometimes understanding people starts with noticing the little things, and sometimes the little things are telling us much more than we think. See you in the next video.